Hello, my name is John Schneider. When I was a kid, I used to visit my Grandma Vi in the Jersey BAYSHORE area, and I'd take 8mm movies of my family and their friends. In fact, I was the family filmmaker. Today I live here, but traded my film camera for video, and recently shot this tugboat in the Shrewsbury River. Welcome to Jersey BAYSHORE country. This is where you'll find Raritan Bay, the Atlantic Ocean, as well as Sandy Hook Bay. Where is the Jersey BAYSHORE? Let's get oriented by starting with the big picture. It's somewhere in here, part of the universe, and definitely part of our world. But it's like no place I've ever experienced. And as soon as we land, I'll show you around. You can tell it's becoming fall because the leaves are starting to turn, and I thought it would be interesting, at least for me, maybe not for you, for me to return to the place that I first came when I first moved here. It was Papamora Point Park, and I jumped over that fence and went through the trees and heard some birds singing, and then saw Sandy Hook Bay, and the rest is history. All right, I don't think I actually jumped. I think I actually walked around the fence here. And I saw this natural path, and I didn't know exactly where it was going to go, but I figured I'd see the water. I've tried not to notice this. I've tried to imagine that maybe we're going to have summer for a little bit longer, but it doesn't look like it. I thought it was really pretty in here. Well, you know, change is, as stupid as it sounds, change is ever present, isn't it? We just go from one part of life to another. I always enjoy the water and the peace that it brings. Not many boats out today. In fact, over the next couple of months, people will start taking their boats out of the water here at the Jersey BAYSHORE. It's an interesting time of the year. For those of us who live here, we get a little bit of a breather. It's less crowded, fewer cars, more for us to do on the water. We can still fish. We can still sunbathe, we can still go boating, but there's just fewer boats to contend with out there. Right over there on that point, the emptiness of that point, I should say, reminds us of some of the devastation that was caused a few years ago by Hurricane Sandy. She rolled in across there. She came right over Sandy Hook, right over there. And a big wall of water just came in and broke on these beaches and washed over highlands like it was nothing. People up there were probably a little nervous, but they didn't get the hit like the people who lived down here did, like the businesses who tried to prepare for the worst did. This was a tough time for Highlands and the towns around it. And this was a great place to live, even with the hurricanes. Hurricanes aren't fun, but this is still a great place to live. And we do love it here. We get a kick out of the fact that on a clear day, you can see New York. See behind that catamaran? To the left? Freedom Tower in New York City. And out there, way out there, is Raritan Bay. And it's not turning out to be such a bad day, despite these clouds. A little wind picking up, but no sails on this one. The other nice thing about this time of the year is that we residents can make fresh footprints in the sand, and that's always fun. Birds love it here. There's more than 300 species of birds in this area. Just found this stone while walking along this beach. You find a lot of sea glass here occasionally. This is interesting because it's really a polished tile. It's been in the water a long time. It's very smooth. I just stopped and talked to these folks. They're so nice, and they're from other parts of the area. Not the Jersey BAYSHORE area, but other parts of New Jersey. They come down here quite often because they love it so much. You can tell it's low tide. One way you can tell are those shallows out there. I've gotten trapped out in those shallows myself. You know, people, if you don't ask it, you're probably thinking it, if you're not from here, what in the world can I do there after the summer? You know, should I settle in, start watching TV and read a book at my house? No. What you can do is exactly what I'm doing. Explore, walk around, enjoy the scenery. Even when it snows, it's pretty. And here's a spring that always seems to be flowing, sometimes more quickly and dramatically than other times, but it's fresh water, just like the fresh water at the Henry Hudson Springs. Comes out of the hills and adds to this great reservoir of water, Sandy Hook Bay. Here it comes. See it? It's trying. It's trying as best it can. There's one of the homes in the hills of Atlantic Highlands, which is just north and east. And look, you can see how low the tide is. See it? See the marker there? You can see somebody running along the Henry Hudson Trail, and the leaves are starting to turn. It's a wonderful trail. Needs a little work in this area, but it's still a wonderful trail. Now you can see Henry Hudson Trail a little bit clearer. Henry Hudson Trail goes past the Henry Hudson Spring and all the way to Atlantic Highlands. Historically, there used to be a railroad track along here, but it kept getting washed out by hurricanes too. So they stopped service a while ago. So then if we turn around and go back toward Highlands, autumn is coming, ladies and gentlemen, to the Jersey Bayshore. It's coming. There's a coolness in the air in this September day as we walk around Pompomora Park. Pretty, isn't it? Listen to the leaves rattling in the wind. You know why the leaves rattle more in the fall? Because they're drier, they're more brittle, they make more noise. In the spring and summer they're supple, they don't make as much noise when they bang into each other. But now they do, it's a sign that fall is coming. Thompson Park is where we're at today, and it's a park designed for year-round use. Today, with a briskness in the air as fall approaches, we're going to go canoeing with Robin, who works from the Monmouth County Park System. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Mary does too.
There you go.
Have a good day. And by the way, these canoes are available for renting. You should try it. So, have you been paddling canoes very much?
Yes, actually.
Like, where have you been? Where have you paddled?
We used to go every year to do the Delaware River. We'd go to Milford. You know where that is?
Yeah.
We'd do Milford to the Gap, or you know, thereabouts. We'd do like 2 nights. We'd camp along the Delaware.
So tell us about this particular lake. This is a dammed lake that's part of another creek. And what's in it, and how deep is it, and what do you know about it?
It has fish in it. I don't know what kind. I do believe they stock it.
What's the name of the lake?
And it's called Marlou Lake. It's it's a man-made lake, and I believe the Marlous made it when it was Marlou Farm, which was a dairy farm, before the park system owned it. But we maintain it. It's a nice sized lake for recreation. We get a lot of people come out for fishing.
So people can come out here and they can rent these canoes and go out in the lake.
I think they do it like every other weekend or something like that.
That's nice.
Which is a nice thing.
So do you play like this all day long?
No, I'm usually in the office working at a computer, so I am so glad you're here and you got me out of the office.
I'm glad too.
I got to go for a bike ride, and now I'm going for a canoe, and it's the most spectacular. It's a top 10 day, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day. And it's a beautiful park with opportunities to do just about anything you want to do in the great outdoors. I mean, look at these dragonflies mating like there's no tomorrow. And these turtles with not a care in the world. Robin is our guide today, and she's taking me to see a bridge she actually designed for the park. That's her job.
Okay, well, I'm a landscape architect. I design site work for park facilities like playgrounds, recreation trails, pedestrian access around buildings into facilities, patios and things like that. And so it's a lot of fun when I get assigned a project to go out in the field and to gather information, and, reconnaissance and collecting everything I need and talking to all the people that I need to talk to. And then, I'll bring it all back to the office and brainstorm to work out the design. And once that gets all worked out and approved, I come up with my product is the construction documents. And that gets put out for public bid. And then I get to go out in the field again when we hire a contractor, and I, administer the contract and make sure all the work gets done properly. And that's exciting.
And when we reached the bridge, there was this wonderful family of swans crossing under it.
This bridge was my project. It was the last phase. The 5th phase of a recreation trail here at Thompson Park that took 12 years to complete, and the bridge itself cost $457,000. The entire trail network, paved trail network, including the bridge, cost over $2 million.
What I like about the bridge is the way it blends in with the scenery around it. In fact, quite a few people stopped along the bridgeway to look at the local natives, and some of them looked back. What a way to spend part of your day. Here's that family of swans again. Look at this fella who caught something delicious to eat. And these guys, I call them the 3 amigos. And this perky little fella, he loved the water. The bridge and the trees and the water all blend together very naturally. And some folks take their bikes across the bridge to ride the miles and miles of trails in Thompson Park. Another thing that I like about the bridge is that it's not in a straight line. Instead, there are a few graceful curves which do make the trip much more interesting. Regardless, there is still the need to stop and look before moving on to explore the rest of the park.
The bridge was constructed, the construction began November of 2011 and it was completed in January of 2012. The trail and bridge is designed to AASHTO standards, 10 foot wide for shared use, a safe passing distance for 2 bicycles. There were a few permits that were required as a part of this project, a wetlands permit and a flood hazard area permit. The wetlands permit requires that you don't disturb any of the wetlands. So the bridge was constructed, it was pile driven, and it was constructed completely from the deck of the bridge, so there was no damage to the wetlands floor. Now the height of the bridge was dictated by a flood hazard area requirement. The way the bridge is located, pulling you across the lake and into and across the lake, it enables you to see so much more wildlife. We've seen different types of waterfowl, geese, ducks. There were swans that had babies here, cygnets, this year. Night herons, green herons, sandpipers. You see various types of turtles.
And now it's time to see a little bit more of Thompson Park from our bicycles. And the paths are wide and the scenery is ever-changing. Here's another bridge in the park we're going to cross. And there are lots and lots of places to have a picnic, both large and small. And there's horse trails all over the place. And there are trails for cross-country skiing during the winter. It really is a park for all seasons. And there's the mansion where the visitor center is located, and you should really try to visit it while you're at the park. There are some slight inclines along the way on these trails, but nothing you can't handle. It's very smooth and very easy. And all the doggies we passed along the way seemed pretty darn happy. Incidentally, most of this park used to be a large farm, so there are lots and lots of open fields to fly a kite. Now look at this field of red-leafed plants. Amazing, isn't it? I just had to stop. But now I want to show you what I found among the goldenrod. I found some thistles with some very interesting activity. Look at this very cool butterfly pollinating the flowers. And check out these bumblebees. They seem to be pretty tolerant of my closeness to them, thank goodness. And here is something spectacular, a monarch butterfly, close up. I mean, I was like 4 inches from this guy. You probably remember monarch butterflies for their mass migration, which brings millions of them to California and Mexico every single winter. In fact, the North American monarch butterflies are the only butterflies that make this massive journey, which can take up to 3,000 miles. And that colorful pattern that they have on their wings not only makes these butterflies easy to identify for us, but it also warns predators that these insects don't taste very good and are in fact poisonous. So don't eat a monarch butterfly. Well, this has just been a small taste of Thompson Park in Lincroft, New Jersey, which is one of many parks managed by the Monmouth County Park System. Please do visit these great parks and see for yourself how beautiful they are and how much fun they can be any time of year. And be sure to visit monmouthcountyparks.com to learn more.